I think it's really important, to keep in mind is how fluid the situation really is. What I'm hearing from my companies so far, and companies like Nike, Lululemon, and the handbag companies, is there's clearly been an impact upon demand, just like Courtney said, in China. Okay, but other than that, there really hasn't been much of an impact yet. And what I'm not hearing, and I think this is really key so far, is real supply chain disruptions. In fact, I was just talking to some companies.
You're not hearing that.
I'm not hearing that yet. What I've heard from, and again, this could change rather quickly, right? But what I am hearing from my companies is that ahead of Chinese New Year, there was a lot of inventory built. They have stocks of inventory. So right now, there has not been the supply chain disruption. Now, obviously, that's going to depend upon how long this lasts, how long it spreads.
It seems almost unfathomable when people talk about, the country being shut down. I mean, I was reading stories, Brian, in the Journal over the weekend where, you have people who are quarantined to their homes and to hotels, and they're not, they can't even get from one province to the next because things are literally shut down. It's just, you think the effect isn't being felt yet, or do you really think the effect won't be there?
Well, look, it's going to depend on how long it lasts. Now, again, the information we're getting at piecemeal, but what I've heard from from the companies I've been speaking with is that production in China is coming back online in limited capacity, and then they have these inventories built. So we're not, again, these retailers deal with relatively long lead times anyway. So what that implies then is that right now they're not having the supply constraints. Now, if this were to last, if it were to last for a longer period of time, then the supply constraints could become an issue.
Sure, and that's why, Courtney, that update from Meg earlier was so interesting. It told us maybe in China it's less of a concern, but now, of course, it's the rest of the world where we're going to be watching for the numbers to climb, even if China's aren't at the same pace.
Absolutely, and so we focus so much on that luxury consumer in China. I know you had an earlier segment talking about luxury, but that's why I bring up that Guess example, because Guess is so important, or Italy is so important, rather, for Guess, as is South Korea. So we're really going to have to dig into some of these revenue regions and figure out what's important to what company where. And Brian, I know, also covers Best Buy, and we talk an awfully lot about, especially during the tariff situation, Brian, about Best Buy being so exposed because of their vendor base manufacturing in China, and those shares are selling off pretty sharply here today.
Like Wayfair today is getting hurt. You'd think
Absolutely.
They'd have similar. Brian, quick last word on that. Are you sticking with with the buy on Best Buy among others?
We have. In fact, I just recently reiterated my positive on Best Buy. The one comment I would make, and I think it's important, again, looking for somewhat of a positive out there, especially in a day like today with the market down as sharply it is. And that one of the comments I've been making to our clients is, if I look at the whole picture and take a step back, what's happening right now, rates have come down substantially. I see on my screen here in front of me the 10-year at 1.37. That's a big positive for rate-dependent retailers like the home improvement centers. And look, in those companies, Home Depot and Lowe's don't source much from China. China is not at all a big factor in their demand. So, those companies could actually benefit here.